What does this 5+7 format mean for the future of college football? Well, again, this was not surprising that we have the 5+7 format going forward. What does the 5+7 format even mean? Essentially, the college football playoff proved that the 5 highest seeded conference champions are all locked into a college football playoff berth. Now, that does not mean that those 5 highest seeded conference champions are going to be ranked 1 through 5. You would imagine those Power 4 conference champions will be somewhere within that top 4, but then that 7 in the 5+7 format is going to be the next highest ranked teams. 7 next highest ranked teams, that is. So, just so we're on the same page here, if you are the 5th highest seeded conference champion, which you would imagine will be a G5 team, let's just say Liberty, for example, that does not lock you in to that 5 seed. You might be the 12 seed. You might be the 9 seed. Not sure where you would be, but just so we're on the same page there, that's, I think, an important note for this whole thing. So, not a surprise. We knew we were going to probably something like this whenever the Pac-12 sort of imploded. But here's the real kicker for me. This college football playoff format is only in effect for the next 2 seasons. 2024, 2025, that's it. So that means by 2026, we're either going to keep going this way or we'll go another direction. Kind of a fork in the road of sorts. So here's my concern. And I said this in the one-off video yesterday. I'm going to say it again right now. I am concerned that the people in control only care about money. And I understand, man, we all got, bills to pay. A lot of us have families to support. We got ourselves to support. Like that's a whole thing. But the folks that run the show in this arena, they slick their hair back. They wear a bow tie to work. They wear a suit to work. They're lawyers. They're MBA types. And I got nothing against lawyers. I got nothing against the people that have MBAs. Suits is one of my favorite shows. I digress. But the reality here is those people that are money motivated are not thinking necessarily all the time about the health and the well-being of college football as a sport. So the point I'm getting to here is don't expand the playoff any further. My concern is you're going to see the revenue jump through the roof, which is what's going to happen here when we go to 12 teams this upcoming season, and this playoff field's going to be electric. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited to watch the games. They'll make for some great matchups. The TV ratings will be outrageous. You're going to see a lot of money by nature of having more games played in the playoff format. So the concern is, okay, more money from more games. Well, heck, we're in charge here. This deal is up now. We're in 2026. We can expand the playoff field even more and make more money. Y'all, I cannot tell you how much that would frustrate me. We're sort of dying on this hill now, so we'll just move past this quickly, but we were always saying, hey, 4 is the right number. If you want to expand it, let's not triple the field. Let's just go to like 6 teams. If you want to get crazy, go to 8 teams. But going to 12 teams right off the bat felt like a knee-jerk reaction. I'm concerned we're going to keep going down that path. Because, again, what you're going to see here is people that see dollar signs, fly close to the sun, and say, well, more money is a good thing for everybody, right? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. And the one take that I think really is confusing to me is folks that hear you say, I don't want the expanded playoff, and they say, well, you don't like football? You don't want to see more competitive football games? You don't want to see these big brands play each other in the most meaningful part of the year? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I want less meaningful football games. I'm saying I want more meaningful football games. The difference is I just want those to happen in that 12-week span we get called the regular season. From late August to late November, that's the playoff games that I want to watch. And when I say playoff games, I'm not talking about single elimination. I'm talking about Ohio State, Michigan, meaning as much as humanly possible. The Red River rivalry, when they meet up in the Cotton Bowl, meaning as much as humanly possible. Those games that happen in September, I want USC, LSU to mean as much as humanly possible. That's the meaningful football that I want us to experience because that's what's made college football so special. And you'll hear some people say, well, JD, every major sport has a playoff format like this. It's time that college football got with it. Well, college football isn't like every other major sport. In fact, you'll notice there's a lot of people that love college football with every fiber of their being that actually don't care at all about the NBA, don't really care that much at all about the NFL or Major League Baseball, whatever. Like, we love college football because it's college football, not because it's like the NFL or because it's the NBA. And I think that's important to remember here. The college football fan is not the average sports fan. It's the diehard college football fan. And what's made this thing so special throughout the course of history is that fall Saturdays have been sacred and mean as much as humanly possible, there's that phrase again, to all of us on every single Saturday. It didn't matter if you're playing Samford. It didn't matter if you were playing USC. It didn't matter if you were playing Alabama. That game had an impact on what the rest of your postseason could look like. we're moving into an era now. If we go to like 16 or 24 or whatever, and we'll talk to Pete here in a second to kind of get his gauge for this, the more games that we play in the postseason, that's going to dilute the value of the regular season. Because at a certain point now, you can lose 3 games. And some of these teams now, we look at the schedule and we understand, like, I may not have more than 3 losable games on my schedule to begin with when it comes to roster comparison any given weekend. Now, I understand that's not necessarily always the case every single year. It's college football, so there's a ton of variance every single Saturday. That's why we love it. But just want to make sure we're all on the same page here. Expanding the playoff would not be the way that we would vote. I'd love to see it stay at 12. Anything more than that, I think, would be a massive mistake from the powers that be. So, heck, maybe we'll start a petition. Maybe we'll get something going to kind of fight the power a little bit here. But when it comes to the college football playoff, 5+7 felt like the right move for this era. But in the future, man, we go to 2026, I dearly hope and pray that we do not go more than 12 teams, because that would be a massive mistake for the future of the sport and for where we're headed here in the not too distant future. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.